You were a short stud.
I was a short stud. I thought you were a virgin when you met me. You ready?
I'm ready.
Gentlemen, she's back. Mrs. Alpha, the one and only Spicy Senorita numero uno. Miss Spicy Senorita, say hello to the gentleman.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, Spicy Senorita. So here's the deal. I got an email the other day from one of our friends. Said, yo, Alpha, you teach us a lot about how to look and how to do all the things in order to attract women, but really, what is the secret to falling in love? And I thought it'd be a great idea to actually have my wife in and talk to her a little bit about love, because we've been together now how many years?
This summer will be 20 years,
What?
which is unbelievable.
Because you're only 27.
I'm only 29, so the math is weird.
You look 23 though. Today guys, it's all about my Spicy Senorita and myself giving you some tips and tricks in order to make that special somebody fall in love with you, but also how to stay in love. Before we actually get to some of these tips, I just want to talk a little bit about how you actually fell in love with me and kind of like the story, because I think there's probably some takeaways in that. What attracted you to me in the first place? This is before I was doing videos. I wasn't exactly killing it, was I, in terms of finances?
No, you weren't.
So what was it?
I probably when I think back about like that time and meeting you and us getting to know each other, you know, one of the things that I immediately and always go to is you were kind.
I was kind?
You were kind. You were a nice person. No, I dated the guy that was the huge vagina. Yeah, I dated him. The crier. Yeah. He cried all the time.
I also dated the asshole.
I dated the asshole. my references are pretty horrible.
But you met
actually.
me and it was...
You were a good person.
But I wasn't financially like...
No.
I wasn't making a lot of money.
No, I made more than you did for the first 9 years of our relationship.
And I wasn't like some tall stud or anything. Like I was like... But I took care... What?
You were a short stud.
I was a short stud. Yes, I was a short stud. I'm still a short stud. I'm a short king, as they say. So we dated for literally 3 years before we ended up getting engaged. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I would have, honestly, like I wanted to get engaged earlier, but I couldn't afford it, right? At the time, you know, I was...
And I had no idea you were even thinking that.
Yeah, I wanted to, but I couldn't afford it. I didn't have JamesAllen.com, right? And so what I had to do was go into the store and look around. I overpaid for what I got. It was a disaster. We ended up going back in and trying to trade. It was kind of a nightmare, but I didn't know what I didn't know. Now I know, like JamesAllen.com, like end of story all day, every day, right? You love what I get you from there.
Yeah, everything's been phenomenal.
Yeah, check it out. Little diamond tennis bracelet action.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Okay, so I got this for Tracy 2 Christmases ago.
2 Christmases, yes.
And you should have seen her when she opened this. What did you say?
I was like, oh my God, is this real?
I'm like, yes, it's real. She freaking freaked out. I also got her the diamond stud earrings.
The classic timeless piece.
Every woman, and that's the thing about the Diamonds Basic Collection, guys. They've got jewelry that like every woman wants, right? The standard pieces like stud earrings, tennis bracelets, pendants. These are actually lab created diamonds along with the tennis bracelets. Now, the cool thing about lab-created diamonds, they are chemically identical to earth-created diamonds, except you're gonna get 30% more diamond bang for your buck. And the crazy thing was the price. They were actually having a sale, so they were really like super affordable. And right now, gentlemen, there's a special link down below this video. You gotta go and check it out. Up to 25% off. It's a limited time sale. They don't do this often, which is why I'm gonna go and stock up because my wife's birthday is right around the corner. You didn't hear me say that.
As is Valentine's Day.
As is Valentine's Day, gentlemen. There's no place that I would buy any diamond jewelry ever again other than JamesAllen.com. I love it, my wife loves it, and your Spicy Senorita, your mom, your girlfriend, like whomever, is gonna love it too. Guys, and the beautiful thing, if you're somebody that is ready to actually make it official and buy her an engagement ring, do not go anywhere else because JamesAllen.com has a crazy selection and you can totally customize what you're buying her based on your needs or her needs, right? You can specify how much you wanna spend, the different cut, the different clarity. Guys, I did a video talking about how to buy bling. I'm going to link to that down below. It's going to go over some basic terminology and what you're actually looking for in terms of buying diamonds. JamesAllen.com makes it easy, makes it affordable. You're going to save like 50% on the price versus going into like a brick and mortar like retail store. And that's a crazy thing. The other thing that I love about JamesAllen.com is the selection of loose diamonds. It is insane. JamesAllen.com has over 200,000 conflict-free diamonds for you to pick from. And these bad boys, I'm talking sparkle next level. And the cool thing, guys, is once again, you can totally customize the ring that you're actually buying her. You get a lifetime warranty, not to mention a 30-day money-back guarantee. Meaning if you get it, you don't love it, she doesn't love it, like no problem, send it back. And shipping is on them within the US. Valentine's Day, gentlemen. Gentlemen, down below, JamesAllen.com, there is no place that I'm going to buy my Spicy Senorita diamond jewelry, and there's no place you should go other than JamesAllen.com. Do you agree?
Agree. Totally agree.
Agree. How important is confidence when it comes to love, attraction, and wanting to be with an amazing dude?
It's huge. It's huge for women and men. Like, as a dude, you don't want a woman who's not confident.
No.
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 You constantly have to reassure her.
Yep.
Or, constantly build her up because, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants to be with somebody who is insecure. And so step number one, gentlemen, is be confident. Step number two is look good. Gentlemen, it's about taking care and pride in your appearance. How important was that in terms of you being attracted to me?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I liked about you was you always dressed well. Always.
And my body, I took care of my body.
And you were always super fit. There was the one period after we moved in together that you weren't, but that didn't last long.
Okay, so true story, like I never really ate bacon or like biscuits or anything like that, but my wife's a southern girl. And so she likes cooking.
And I like to cook.
Yeah, and so I apparently like to eat, and so all of a sudden we move in together and I gained literally like 30 pounds. I wouldn't take my shirt off at the beach. My ass got like this big. I had dimples everywhere.
Yeah, you were like, I love you, but you've got to.
You gotta stop.
I couldn't just throw caution to the wind. We had to eat clean during the week.
Exactly.
We could not just throw caution to the wind. Nobody can throw caution to the wind and just eat shit all week. You just not gain.
Exactly.
And especially the older you get.
And the older you get, the tougher it is, gentlemen. I'm telling you, when I hit 30, my metabolism was like, exactly.
But yeah, Aaron was like, I love you, but you
got to stop cooking.
Stop cooking all the yummy stuff during the week. Let's have yummy stuff on the weekend.
Yummy stuff. Well, here's the other thing, though. You also need to understand that you need to continue to take care of your body and yourself. What she fell in love with, you got to keep it going. A lot of dudes, like, they'll get comfortable, right? And comfort breeds complacency and laziness. And what happens is a lot of dudes will get just sloppy and not pay attention. You've got to consistently put in the time and the effort and make sure that the person knows that, you know what, I'm taking care of myself for you. Not just for me, but for you. Consistently let the person know that you appreciate them.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Some other things. What are some other things that basically will help a relationship thrive?
You have to understand each other's love language because our love languages are very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's mine?
Well, it's not mine. Our love
languages are very different.
Very different, and that's okay. It works, but you have to understand what the other person needs and doesn't need.
Yes.
Very much hugely important.
Hugely important.
Yes.
What about finances?
I don't feel like we ever have, other than your struggle financially early on, I never felt it back then. I thought, to me, everything was paid.
I felt it.
He felt it, yeah. It wasn't like we didn't have enough money to pay things, but
You had enough money to pay things.
I had enough money.
I was struggling, and that's one of the things that was really hard for me, and that caused me to have a lot of insecurity during our relationship, was the fact that I didn't have money, and that I was always literally always hustle to hustle, trying to make ends meet, and never let her see it, because I felt like if you saw that I was broke, or if you saw that I was really stressed out about money, that you wouldn't be attracted to me and that you'd like leave me for somebody with more money. That was always
You always worked your butt off.
always worked my butt off.
Even if you weren't super successful at what you were working at right that second, you always worked your butt off.
And that's another takeaway, guys. Be motivated and keep working. You know, there's nothing less attractive than a guy who's unmotivated and lazy.
Oh God, I've dated that guy too.
How many? I thought you were a virgin when you met me.
Well, just because I dated him doesn't mean I slept with him.
You don't necessarily need to be super like crazy rich or wealthy.
No.
That's ridiculous.
No.
And that's one of the unfortunate things with social media is that it makes guys, I feel like, insecure and think, okay, before I get a girlfriend, I need to accomplish this and then this and then this. When unfortunately, you're probably going to miss out on some incredibly amazing people because you're waiting for perfect timing. Perfect timing doesn't exist.
No, you have to juggle all of that stuff.
You got to juggle and you've just got to jump, gentlemen. But the other thing is like, let's talk a little bit about like jealousy, because I think that a lot of people do struggle with, you know, feelings of insecurity and jealousy and worried. How has that impacted our relationship?
Well, you're not jealous at all, and it's been amazingly wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I trust her, and,
yeah.
and there's no reason. And the other thing that I think about is like, if you didn't want to be with me, you wouldn't be with me. Like there's nothing I can do, and I've talked about this before. There's no amount of love or caring that you can give somebody. If they're going to cheat, if they're going to leave you, they're going to leave you, they're going to cheat. It's on them. It's not necessarily about you. And so for us, it's always been a choice to stay together because we love each other. And I've never worried that you were.
No, we never and I think you knew early on that I wasn't a woman that had you in my life because I needed you.
True.
I had you in my life because I wanted you.
Yeah, and I think
I could function just. It wasn't I need him. I can't survive without him financially or whatever the situation may be. You knew immediately.
I think that's
Yeah.
a great point. You know, relationships, healthy, amazing relationships are people that come together not because one needs the other person, but because they want to be together. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the same. And that's one of the things. Like, I have my life, you've got your life, right?
Yeah.
You do your thing, I do my thing. But we come together, and that's the other takeaway, right? You should have your own friends. You should be able to do, you know, what you want to do to some degree. You always need to consider the other person, of course. Like, if I was going out and getting drunk and being in bars, you wouldn't be okay with that.
No. And you don't have to have the same goals.
Right.
Like, you always had dreams of being an entrepreneur, and I have zero interest in
Yeah.
that.
So, all right. In conclusion, let's wrap this bad boy up. What is the number one tip that you would give somebody in terms of making a relationship work and last?
Oh gosh, one tip?
Yeah.
Gosh, narrow it down to one. Again, I'm going to go back to being kind. Because if you're kind, then you're not treating someone poorly. And if you're kind, then you're understanding that person. I'm going to go with kindness. Kindness is so huge, being a good person.
And I'm going to go with communication. Communication, you've got to be able to do it, you know, both in good times and bad times. You've got to be able to argue. You've got to be able to make up. You've got to be willing to talk to the person or try to understand them if there's something going on, and try to understand how they communicate. You know, I communicate very differently than my wife, right? We communicate, but it's different. I'm a talker. And she needs her space a lot of time to think and compartmentalize. And so you've got to be willing to communicate. You've got to be willing to allow the person to talk and communicate the way that they need to. But ultimately, it comes down to understanding and supporting whenever and wherever possible. Yeah?
Agree.
Agree. I love you.
Love you.
Another 20 years?
At least.
At least?
Well, that only puts us at
Hey, I'm young.
yeah, I know, right?
You're amazing. Don't forget it. So are you.
Thanks, babe.